Okay, welcome to week 35, 2025. We already have a big breaking news event Monday evening. This broke about an hour ago, 2 hours ago. Trump says he's removing Fed Governor Lisa Cook, cites mortgage fraud allegations. This is huge. This is an unprecedented move against an FOMC official, a body that really tries to stay out of politics. But right now, the Trump administration is going to flex. They're going to fire her for cause. And these mortgage fraud allegations, if they're proven true, potentially will back up that removal. Now, the big deal about removing an FOMC official is interest rates. It's what is this going to do to interest rate expectations? Was Cook potentially a hawk or a dove? Well, Cook had always backed Jay Powell with pretty much every vote. So when you see along those lines, definitely a hawk, we could be looking for a dovish price action here in the U.S. dollar. This is a big deal. Breaking news event after the market. After the market on Monday, it seems like with the Trump administration, nothing's ever over. The headlines never stop coming. So we definitely want to keep that in mind as we roll deeper into the trading week. And also remember that we did have that in our newsletter. So be sure to check out the newsletter. Read more about that situation. That's a big one to monitor. Okay, we've got a few pairs that we're going to look at today. Our picks of the week are going to be the Euro CAD, the Euro USD, the CAD Yen, and the XAU USD or the gold market. So let's go ahead and get started here. We've got a 4-hour chart on the Euro CAD. You can see Monday was an interesting session for this pair, and we sort of had a 920 crossover. Those of you that are familiar with our 920 strategy, you had a 9 crossed under the 20, and we had our purple bar. That's our code. Our coded bar right there showed up as a potential sell signal. So we're interested in the Euro CAD, maybe to the short side on the 4-hour chart, potentially getting a little bit more of that bearish price action. If you want to take a look, maybe it's some confirmation. You'll notice our RSI still right in the 40s, high 30s. Let's see, 44.75. So we're still very much in flat territory there for the Euro CAD. I wouldn't get too carried away with making a market call, but our 920 crossover does say that it's a sell signal right there. So we're watching this relatively closely as we dive deeper into the trading week. Now, as far as just straight price action on a weekly chart, the Euro CAD, you're going to always want to be aware of where your key levels are. That's absolutely huge. So an area of natural resistance potentially is going to be maybe that 62 zone right up around there. And we're painting with broad strokes here, but 162 even certainly is last week's top is right up there at about 162.25, 162 and a quarter. Interesting price action to start this week, and probably the next topside resistance zone, natural resistance, is going to be right up there around 163. Now, as far as how would we trade this right this minute? Well, I mean, you can see the bullish, the long-term trend or the intermediate-term trend is definitely bullish. Nice big move back there in March, chopped sideways. Then we got another break in June. We went sideways and then pushed higher there really to open up August. So if we were looking to follow the trend, we could go to our Fibonacci retracement tool. We could work right from that spike low that developed sort of in late July, and we could run right to last week's high, potentially a huge level right there, huge support zone at 160.50. So if you trade the Euro CAD, you're definitely going to want to look at those key levels, 162, 163 to the top side, pullback zone right around 160.50. Not a bad way to approach this trading week. And if you're looking at that 4-hour 920 crossover, the 9 crossed under the 20, potentially a sell signal there. So definitely keep an eye on those situations and levels for that Euro CAD. Now, as far as what we have right here in the Euro USD, this is the chart that I've really been referencing a lot. We did it today in the live stream. I also put it in the newsletter, but I did want to touch on exactly what this chart means. We had our bullish trend line drawn. We connected really August, the 5th of August low. We're connecting right in there, the 11th and the 12th of August, that dip. And then this area right here is really what we were focusing on because that trend line has been under absolute fire. We got the bearish close back on the 19th of August, and you saw we had a pretty darn good sell-off until what happened? The Jackson Hole Symposium, Jay Powell, big time rally on Friday. But we didn't close above that daily bullish trend line. Absolutely fantastic. This bearish reversal still in play. Monday brought a big-time sell-off. A little bit of rotation here for that early Tuesday Forex session. Still looking towards the bearish side of this market. Remember, you're pretty much holding your bears until you get a bullish close up above this daily bullish trend line. I think you definitely could see potentially some bearish action here out of the Euro USD as the USD maybe gains back a little bit of the puff that it lost last Friday. Lisa Cook being fired from the Fed, a potential trip to the Supreme Court to challenge the legality of all this, that could really draw some action to the U.S. dollar, bearish or bullish. We don't know yet. We could build the case that means that we're going to be in dovish price action and the USD is going to lose ground. We could also build the case that maybe if Cook is out and can't be a voting member of the FOMC for the next couple of meetings, what's that going to do to the final vote tally? Are we going to stay higher for longer? we are in a state of flux right now. We just don't know. Euro USD, though, I like it to the downside. Let's go ahead and wait and see exactly what develops in the midweek trade. CAD yen. CAD yen's another big one. Here's a good look at our daily 920 crossover. You can see we sort of had the crossover back on the 11th of August, and then we got the big reversal there on the 12th of August. And this sell signal, this trade ended up being a loser. This trade ended up being a winner. And as you can see, we were just coming off sort of, I would call that a grind south. It's not really decisive, but you definitely have a short side bias there if you're looking at that daily chart. Now, if we want to take that down to a 4-hour and see how this market opened the week, you'll notice you're working another sell. Crazy price action. You had a bid back there on the 21st of August. 22nd was a big sell signal, and then you got another buy, and then you got a sell. This is a real tight type of an environment. I think that I would be smart. I would step back to that daily time frame on my 920 crossover and pretty much look at maybe a situation where you're holding shorts. But remember, if you're holding them up there from 107.35, you're in much better shape than taking it at 106.48. Be careful with that market. We do have a big key level, though, that I do want to point out. This was a beautiful trade for us last week, 106 even. We talked a lot about the 106 even on the live stream. That was a banger of a trade. Great support zone, 38% level. Spike low to a spike high. Pull back 106, and then the bounce. I'll be watching 106 very, very closely as downside support for the rest of this week. Now, if it does give way, if the CAD yen does break beneath that 106 level, then we have to be ready for a big-time move to the south. And if we do get that 104.25, probably a pretty darn good area to bid the 62% level back into that golden zone. Fantastic stuff there. All right, let's get on to gold, and we'll call it a day. You got the 4-hour gold chart right here. You'll notice that we had a bid really come across the board that developed on the 22nd of August. Was JPY. That was the big light show in Jackson Hole. The bid level was right up there, right around 33.74. And you can see right now you're trading about 33.77. Still a pretty good trade. Interesting action late in the day. This right here shows you what an announcement like the firing of Lisa Cook can do to the markets. Absolutely choppy whipsaw price action in gold. That coincided with that key news event. Very, very key that we understand that's a big-time market driver. We're watching that all week long. I'll have that on live streams. We'll have live coverage throughout the trading week. But is the bullish side of this okay? Yeah, more than likely. You can see you're sort of dug in here. You believe that dovish interest rates are going to drive gold higher. The firing of Cook is fresh uncertainty. That's going to draw bids to gold. And then also another $50 billion has been committed from, I believe, NATO or EU partners to the Ukraine for its defense. And that could potentially prolong the Russia-Ukraine war. Last week at this time, we were thinking peace. Now, not so much. So we're definitely watching gold to the top side. So here it is. I cover this technical picture really every single live stream. Monthly bullish pennant. Nice big run really beginning back after the compression we saw back in November of 2024. Really going back to January this year. Bang. Nice big move. Nice big bullish move. And we've traded sideways all summer long. This looks like it's loading up for a big-time move. Key level to the top side is 3,500. That is the top of this market as it stands right now today. I think we probably challenge that. Firing Fed officials, Russia-Ukraine escalations, maybe dovish interest rate policy. That all points to potentially a big-time break here in gold. We're watching this to the bull. I think the bull's probably the right side to be on. This 4-hour chart right here gives you a good opportunity to have a decent buy. Stop loss has probably got to be down somewhere down beneath this swing low or the trigger bar itself. And then as far as our key levels go, we're watching last month's high very, very closely up there at about 34.38.94. Somewhere in that zone, we could definitely get a washout and a potential run-up to 3,500. All right, everybody, that's week 35. Those are our picks of the week. Euro CAD, Euro USD, CAD yen, and the gold market. Be careful. We're watching the Cook situation very closely. It could potentially mean a lot to the markets. Can't overstate that enough. We'll have all the coverage on the live stream. Until our next live stream, trade the action well, and we'll talk soon. See ya.